I want to now head up to the Sunshine Coast and catch up with Liberal MP Andrew Wallace. Andrew, nice to see you. So the firing gun, it's been started. We're ready to go. We're in campaign mode. I've got to say you've got a big test, or there's a big test coming up for Albo next week, of course, the rates decision, the interest rates decision on Tuesday, but also Liberation Day, where Australia could face another round of tariffs from Donald Trump. If there is another round, or if there is indeed another rate hike, or even if they don't put rates up, does this now then give the coalition an opportunity for more ammunition?
Well, not like we didn't need any of that ammunition, Danica, because we have seen this Prime Minister lurch from disaster to disaster to disaster. The budget that was announced during the week, 70-cent a week tax cuts, and we have to wait for 15 months before we get them. And if you compare that to Peter Dutton's halving of the excise tax in relation to fuel, diesel and petrol, that'll be one of the first things that we move through Parliament if we're elected, as a first point of order. That will see benefits to average Australians with a car of $14 a week, around $750 a year. So that's good money. That's in your pocket. If you have two cars, we'll double it, $28 a week. So good for everyday Australians, as opposed to the tax cuts that were the 70-cent tax cuts that were proposed by the Prime Minister. That will only touch certain elements of the population. But anybody with a car, anybody with a petrol or a diesel car will see these benefits straight away.
And I mentioned just before I was talking to Malcolm Roberts that the polls are pointing to a possible minority government. I mean, there's still 5 weeks, there's still a long time in politics. But I was listening to Adam Bandt earlier today, and I've got to say the Greens seem like they're licking their fingers already. This is what Adam Bandt said.
A minority government is the pathway to get things done. That's what history shows. And with a minority government on the cards, it would be an opportunity to keep Peter Dutton out and get Labor to act.
Andrew, an opportunity to get things done. That's the message from the Greens. What's your response?
I'm speechless. I think there's only one person in the world who actually believes that, and that's Adam Bandt. If you look back to the absolute farce and that we had in 2010 when we had a Labor Greens minority government, that was an absolute disaster for this country. I mean, this government is already one of the most far left governments that Australia has ever seen. I used to say it's the worst government since Whitlam, but I can't say that anymore. I've got to correct myself because it is the worst government. And if we have a Teals, Greens, Labor government, the Teals and the Greens will work in conjunction with each other to drag this already leftist government further to the left. We have already had 3 years of absolute disaster after disaster. We cannot afford another 3 years of Anthony Albanese in a majority government, let alone a minority with the Teals and the Greens. God help us, Danica.
Oh, especially if you've got Prime Minister Albo, the de facto Adam Bandt, and a couple of Teals scattered in here, there and everywhere. Andrew, it's going to be an absolute mess. But look, 5 weeks is a long time in politics, a huge campaign ahead. We look forward to catching up with you throughout the campaign. Andrew Wallace, good to chat. Thanks so much for joining me on the show.